Real numbers are all the numbers that we know of on a number line. You can put them on a number line. So this is a real number system, and they consist of different sets of numbers. So natural numbers are counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Whole numbers are natural numbers plus 0. Integers are negative and positive whole numbers. And rational numbers are numbers that are fractions. So on here we have some fractions. Numbers that are decimals that stop. And they're also decimals that repeat. So any number that you can express as a fraction is also a rational number. So this number you can write as a fraction. That's 3/10. This number you can write as a fraction. That's -1 7/100. So any number that you can express as a fraction using integers is a rational number. So an irrational number, all the numbers that you can't write as a fraction, these are decimals that have no pattern, they go on forever. So list all the number sets for which each one belongs. So all of the number sets. So this is a decimal and it stops. So this is a rational number, which automatically makes it a real number. Now in math we shorten rational or real numbers. Times what you'll see the rational number would be a Q, an uppercase Q, and a real number is an uppercase R. Square root of 26 is a decimal that goes on forever and doesn't have a pattern. So this is an irrational number, so I can write irrational. And the symbol for irrational number is a Q and a prime symbol or apostrophe. So rational number is a Q, irrational is a Q prime, not rational basically. And then -4 fits under here with the integers. So if it's an integer, it's automatically a rational number, and it's automatically a real number. So on here I should have put real number as well. So integers, for some reason, could probably look it up, we use a Z, capital Z. A rational again is Q, and a real number is R, capital. So part 2, which number set describes each variable? So age of a U.S. president. U.S. presidents have to be 35 years or older. So if somebody asks you your age, you would just say the whole number that represents it. So you would say I'm 16 or I'm 40 or I'm 80. So the best answer for this one would actually be the natural numbers. Symbol for natural number is an N. Symbol for a whole number is an N with a 0. So it's natural numbers including 0. So I know that your age could be a real number on a number line, but when we're talking about if somebody asks you your age, you would use natural numbers. And I'm not including 0 as a whole number. I'm not including whole numbers because a president can't be 0 years old. Area of a circle is using the formula pi r squared. So because of that pi is an irrational number, this is an irrational number. So irrational numbers are Q prime. And then a shoe size, you can have half shoe sizes, so they're going to be the rational numbers. And I'm actually going to specify it's positive because we can't have negative shoe sizes, but we can have shoe sizes that are fractions, or we can have shoe sizes that are fractions. So rational numbers are Q. So I'm going to do positive Q's. Positive. Additive inverses and opposites. So additive inverse is the same thing as an opposite. So if you have 5, the additive inverse or opposite of it is negative 5. Because when you add these two, you get 0. The opposite of 6.2 is negative 6.2. So for multiplicative inverses, they're the same thing as reciprocals. So something that you can multiply with something else to get 1. So the reciprocal of 1/6 is 6, because when you multiply them, you get 1. The reciprocal or multiplicative inverse of negative 2/3 is negative 3/2. So example 3, find the opposite and reciprocal of each number. So the opposite of 1.2 is negative 1.2. The reciprocal you would think would just be, oh, just do 1 over 1.2. But we never want to mix a decimal and a fraction. It's just bad notation, incorrect notation. So I'm going to write 1.2 as a fraction. So this is 1 2/10, which reduces to 1 1/5. So this number right here is called a mixed number. I'm going to write this as an improper fraction. So to do that, I multiply 1 times 5, and then I add 1. So this is 6/5. So I haven't even done the reciprocal yet. So the reciprocal is you need to flip the numerator and the denominator around. So now this is going to be 5/6. So this is the reciprocal, this is the opposite. This is the opposite, and I'm going to use the same technique again. So this is 3 3/10, which is 33/10. And now I'm going to flip it over. So the reciprocal is 10 33rds. Negative, because the original one was negative. The opposite of negative 4/3 is 4/3. So the reciprocal of this one is negative 3/4. Also, this is going back to properties of real numbers. So closure means that real numbers are closed under addition. That means that when you add two real numbers, you get a real number. When you multiply two real numbers, you get a real number. That's what closure means. Commutative property means you change the order. Change the order, just like you would commute Greenville to Grand Rapids to Greenville to get home. Associative means that you're changing the grouping symbols. The order is the same, but the grouping is different. These work for addition and multiplication, but not for subtraction and division. Identity for addition is you're adding 0. Multiplicative identity is you're multiplying by 1 because it doesn't change the number. And then we already talked about additive inverses. You add up two numbers that are opposite, you get 0. You multiply two numbers that are reciprocals, you get 1. And the distributive property looks like this. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. So if you have a number line and you have 5, you use these symbols. So this symbol means the absolute value of 5, or the distance 5 is from 0. So how far away is 5? Well, the absolute value of 5 is 5. Now let's do negative 2. What is the distance negative 2 is from 0? How far is negative 2 from 0? Well, it's 2 units. So what you do is you need to evaluate what is inside the absolute value and then make it positive. You'll notice that you can never have a negative distance. Your distance can be 0, but it can never be negative. So evaluate each. So first I'm going to do the inside, 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So the absolute value of negative 2 is 2, because it's 2 units away from 0 on the number line. The second one, I'm going to do the numerator first. So negative 2 plus 5 is 3. the absolute value of 3 is 3. So I have 3/6. I'm going to simplify that to 1/2. If the problem starts as a fraction, answer as a fraction. If it starts as a decimal, answer as a decimal. That's kind of the rule of thumb I play by. Letter C, what value does the absolute value of x equal x? So the absolute value of 0 is 0. I know that works. The absolute value, I'm going to try negatives. Nope, that doesn't work. Try positive. Yep, that works. So this would be all numbers that are greater than or equal to 0 would work. So if you had a number line, the absolute value of 0 is 0. That works. Try 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. That works. The absolute value of 2 is 2. That works. Decimals would work. So it's all of these numbers over here. So the solution is an inequality. X is at least 0.